Hello everyone, this is East Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Unlike that absolute fail to not start the intro with an awkward voice crack, we did make it back to tier 39. Staying in Vault again definitely helped out that we had both Plumeria and Saros this season, so that was great. But we'll see how we did this week on defense. Because once again, haven't had time to actually look at most of these replays, so I assume this team's just going to hit and run. I don't think they can nuke the entire team, or most of the relevant units on the team in one turn, so we'll see what they do here. They don't have safety defense, so they're probably not doing anything fancy turn one. Let's see what happens here. We got our Duma memes. They do have Volt Tower there, so they might use that as well to get that extra damage off. Don't know how relevant that is though. There's the Volt Tower damage. And unironically, I think going forward we might remove the healing tower just to see if people sabotage themselves harder against Duma. Because right now, Duma in Vantage range is actually kind of scary for their team. That's kind of an issue for them. I'm pretty sure Altina is not in Vantage range right now. She's barely outside Vantage range, so that, like, Duma could definitely pose a problem for them here, but let's see if he does. I doubt it, because they can just stall and let him heal back up with Healing Tower. We don't have to worry about that. I imagine Legendary Figure's just going to go Duo Core in here because damage reduction will do a lot. Yep. Crusader's Ward definitely kind of strong against ranged units. Just a little. Until they proc something like Deadeye or Lethality or units who probably have special. Then, in which case, I don't know what they were expecting here, but that's not going to end well. Unfortunately for us, we're not going to get a dance off on Humble Roy, but Mirablos actually picks up a kill, so that's nice.
We've been detected.
But if you want to go more offensive, Mirablos, definitely been seeing people run Lord Kane, and of course the old school Brave Lord or Ninja Katana Volkor. I personally like Lord Kane because most of the time a bunch of enemy units are not going to be running no follow-up on offense on all of their units. So you can get, compared to Ninja Katana and Brave, so you can get more attack and you still attack twice. It's just that in the case of Brave Sword Ninja Katana, quite rarely you'll be able to just casually quad
protect you
always. If someone's letting you do that, chances are that's because you're doing 0 times 4 or something of that nature. But yeah, maybe we should consider actually trying to not leave as many obvious holes in our defense, but one of the clear holes in our defense is of course mobility, despite us having a ton of calves on the team. It's kind of ironic. Because against end turn teams like this, you don't even need Elamine, you just need to know where to end turn, and you're fine. Because we only have one dancer here, and of course it's our 7th slot unit, so you can just bait turn 1 like this and get away with it. As long as your units can survive, that's the only condition. But yeah, of course, Legendary Nana is not going to do too much against Senbotsu, especially in Deep Rage. He really needs to quad to pick up those kills, and it's not going to happen so, without Harmonized Catria. And of course, the stall from Duo Thor, so Legendary Figure is not coming to town anytime soon. But of course, Duo Nina is not going to do too well against this HP arm. Except for the fact she does survive, which is quite interesting. But here, Harmonized Roy has dragon effective damage. He's green, so he's barely able to kill, but who cares? At this point, this defense is such a meme.
I knew it.
It almost doesn't matter. But there we go for 2 kills there, and they just end up surrendering. Anyways, since these replays seem pretty predictable so far, let's talk about how offense went. Overall, as you can probably tell, we did alright. There was one match where we just did something so silly, such a silly mistake. My plan was to bait out what ended up being their Harmonized Azura. She was dancing from this tile because of the 7th slot shenanigans. So I was baiting her out with Legendary Julia here. And there was a Harmonized Lysithea for Rally, and I was like, okay, I can make sure that after Harmonized Azura attacks, there's no shenanigans that can happen where Harmonized Lysithea can actually attack any of our units. But of course, naturally, she can just Rally Harmonized Azura when you're baiting, so I had my Plumeria still where Altina was, so Harmonized Lysithea got danced, and well, we lost the unit.
Don't get caught.
10 out of 10. Not much we can do there. Not gonna worry too much about that. And then we definitely did some Galaxy Brain plays for a lot of this season. Unfortunately, I guess Legendary Sigurd ended up blocking dual unit attack spot, which is unfortunate. I don't know if they predicted that. Chances are they didn't. A lot of people don't.
Silently.
But unfortunately, our Legendary Sigurd also did not survive. But it's not that it really matters. We're just going to get walled by everyone here. But yeah, on offense, we did some things like break structures. Someone had one of their sub-slot unit unable to be danced by their dancer, Harmonized Azura. But that was only because there was a structure in the way, so I broke the structure. And then used Regan to snipe down Harmonized Azura and lead because they didn't have Kanto control. And so that was a pretty clean win. There were some other ones, of course, with using our Bolt Tower. That's a pretty standard classic at this point. But
don't get caught.
Overall, yeah, we definitely... oh wait, it was the last match of the season where I could have gone for a deathless win, but I was like, it doesn't really matter if we go for a deathless win or not, so I decided to set up a calculated tactical unit stack. So I was having Legendary Julia.
Silently.
I had Legendary Julia nuke a Legendary Sigurd and a dual Prom. And then I left her to bait out Mirabilis. What's her name? Ascended Ishtar? Yeah, Ascended Ishtar and Theros. Because of course, Legendary Julia now can counter dragons at melee range, which is nice. It's definitely a nice tech in ether raids for sure. But
don't get caught.
I already calced everything out. Ascended Ishtar was too slow, so she couldn't actually attack twice against Legendary Julia, and therefore she couldn't proc Luna. So she was an easy wall. Of course, Saros is a pretty trivial wall, even though I'm running Mirror Impact on my A slot on offense. It still works out, so can't complain. So I knew Mirabilis was going to attack first. And so, with how the AI works, I just set it up so that Mirabilis attacked Legendary Julia from her left instead of from above her, so that Ascended Ishtar, thanks to Mirabilis' guidance, could teleport and take out my Plumeria. But again, calculated, if I really wanted to, I could have just set up the match so I wouldn't have to actually properly manipulate the AI to make Mirabilis attack from the left like that, but we're not going to worry about that. If you have the flexibility to move your units basically wherever you want, manipulating where the enemy attacks from is generally pretty easy. So there we just kind of did whatever. And speaking of did whatever, they decided to use their Winter Altina here, but not pop their
Gifts.
Harmonized Will, so I'm not sure what they were expecting. Maybe they forgot that C feud was a thing, so Elamine wasn't giving damage reduction. But even after you factor that 30% damage reduction, she was still getting one shot, so that's... If they were banking on Elamine saving Winter Altina, even though we didn't... Even if C feud wasn't there, it still would have killed. Do your daily damage calcs, folks. It pays off, yeah, well, it does. It's just that for the average player, it's probably not worth it. It's not worth your time. Because we have this thing called
All mine.
Escape Ladder that we still haven't built and we'll never build unless we do it on accident. And if we build it on accident, we just will never use it. The only time I would consider using it is if for some odd reason Intelligent System screws up and makes it a bonus structure for some reason. Then, you know, maybe we might do that, but yeah, that wouldn't make any sense because then you wouldn't be able to run the bonus structure on defense. Kind of a small problem there. No big deal. But here, Brave Elwood are barely able to take out Legendary 9. Bonus stats not quite enough for us, unfortunate. But here, Harmonized Roy against Brave Elwood, not looking too great. Especially with this Luna incoming. That's just a clean nuke. And well, Duma can meme and take out Thor, I suppose. Duma memes. I don't know what to think about Duma on defense. I just have him there for merch blonking, but honestly, he's not as bad as some other particular units I would use on defense. But he's also pretty much dead weight if the rest of my team's gone. The only time he would be not dead weight when he's by himself is when he's in vantage range and all of the enemy units can't survive him. But yeah, we're generally not going to run into that scenario. Here we have ourselves Brave Dimitri, post-refine. Definitely incredibly strong now, especially if you stack percent-based damage reduction like this. You're going to get a lot of mileage. Because the flat damage reduction gets the scales off of his defense is absolutely powerful, as we've seen with Aster, but the reason why Aster can still be decent a lot of the times is because he doesn't have percent-based damage reduction on top. And once you start getting to pretty ridiculously high levels of percent-based damage reduction,
out of the way.
Yeah, things are not gonna go well for the enemy unless they can do a lot of damage. And even for mages, if you stack enough damage reduction, that is borderline impossible. So, of course, Brave Dimitri should wall our entire team here. That should not be a surprise. We will do something with Luna here, but of course not much. Unitime's definitely solid on him, again, because of his damage reduction. It's a lot harder for units to do 10 damage than for him to heal 10 damage off of Unitime. So, of course, as long as his damage reduction is actually active, then he's fine.
I will see it
Otherwise, definitely not fine.
I will protect my people.
But yeah, at least nowadays he can tank some stuff. Of course, he's doing about as much damage as you would expect. Post-refine, still fine, but of course, with damage reduction on the enemy, he definitely will struggle. But that's why he has to attack more than once to pick up a kill. Or you could try and proc a special that scales off of defense, because that's of course his main gimmick. Doing a lot of things that scale off of defense. So that's a clean kill on Mirabus there, and Doom is just chilling here. It's not like he's really gonna do much at this point. Armored boots would not even be a thing, because if they really wanted to, they could use Elamine to prevent armored boots from proccing. So I think for the foreseeable future, we probably won't be running armor boots ever on Duma. We haven't run armor boots on him forever, so not an unexpected outcome. But rip Duma, no match for Brave Propel, and he can't even one-shot even if he was in Vantage range because we're running Fury 4. Feels bad. And here we are for another Harmonized. It's been so long since I've seen Harmonized Altina that I forget that she was for a short bit meta in Aetherids. Of course, because of her Vantage Null Sea Disrupt gimmick with a Brave Weapon and a special that can damage reduction. That scales off of the res. Of course, on paper that sounds great, except for the fact that her Vantage is tied to Harmonized skills. And most people, not us though, run Duo Hindrance, so generally we can't have Vantage. And she is tankier than the average Slowpoke unit, but she is Slowpoke non-armor unit, but she is not the tankiest of the tankiest units in the world. So you can see there that she would have gotten one shot if she didn't Vantage kill there. But here they should just be able to clean up pretty easily. Legendary Sigurd has no HP now, thanks to Gold Towers, so rip him. And naturally they would hit enter in here, makes sense. And unfortunately for us, Mirabluss does way too much damage, so Legendary Nana doesn't actually get danced. Unfortunate, so that's how it goes. Don't know if they planned it. From the looks of it, it looks like it could go either way. So that's kind of awkward. Can't really tell if they planned it or not, but Duma here just doing what Duma means. But that's about it, because, well, Duma can never counterattack Brave Camilla, so eventually at some point they could chip him down, especially since he's running Fury. That's kind of a small problem. But hey, at least they charged up his special for us, not that it matters at all. They got to pick up the ether structures though, so we'll see what they do here. They do get the gravity from Brave Camilla, so they do something with that.
Let me see.
And while Harmonized Warrior is not known for tanking, so not even close. Looks like they should be able to pick up the structures here. Close, but not even close. There you go, a nice bonfire to finish out the match. Alright, we got ourselves Elamine, Bride Fjorm, and Ascended Fjorm, because why not? Should work in theory. You shouldn't be able to screw up this unless you hit auto battle or something. Alright, this is an interesting tactic. Seems fine though. Because again, our problem is mobility. Most of our melee units can actually reach there. Kind of a problem. Ascended Fjorm here, once again able to one-shot the counter. That's what Ice Mirror allows you to do. But sometimes you still misses the kill even with Ice Mirror.
Believe in me.
Ascended Fjorm. Of course, Harmonized Roar is going to do very little there. And there's no dance, of course, because there goes 7
I
slot.
wish you luck. Ha!
So we're basically squanching defense scoring, and that's about it. Realistically, we'd like to have an actually functional
There's
dancer
nothing to fear.
that can dance turn 1 if they just hit end turn.
For the hope of all.
Here, Brave Marv hanging on for his life. And, well, they're just gonna run, obviously, because Brave Marv doesn't want to mess with Doom and Saros. Let's see. The Summer Edelgard better survive this, so it would be pretty sad if he couldn't kill there, and there we go. Able to kill there. Of course, because of course we're running a non-damage special, so kinda has to be concerned about that. And it should be an easy win at this point. Duma. The only way they could boost this up is if they leave one of their healers or someone in his range to get Bolt Fighter.
I wish you luck.
And here, Duma looks like he's going to barely got 1 round KO'd, but 1 round KO nonetheless because he doesn't have this damage reduction. Feels bad. I think I know what's happening here. We have a safe defense, and it doesn't matter, of course, because the catapult's going to break it. But what really matters is that they have Ascended or Bride Fiorm for getting that isolation off on Mirabilis, so they're probably gonna just snipe down yet. Legendary Nana turn 1. That's reasonable. There's no counterplay for this, unless they accidentally leave New Year's Odor in range like that. Then that might be slightly terrible, but seems alright. Nothing really going to happen here. Definitely contemplating what I want to run this on a unit. Sometimes in instances like this, having an assist like reposition would be useful, because then it would force the enemies to approach more towards us, which makes it more spoopy if they can't run. Definitely happens to me a lot on offense. There's instances where I just have to run away and just make sure they can't follow me, because I can nuke their units. It's just that I would end up losing one of my units in range of their units to
I
get
will be
nuked,
your
so
lance.
can't make that play if I'm trying to win Deathless. And I guess Doom is memeing with Pivot. Not that it matters, because his mobility is so poor. Can't ever get to attack someone, but I guess he can keep pivoting. That's interesting, but Brave Erica should be able to easily shred Saros here.
Keep your eyes on me.
Juicy Luna, lots of damage. Nice reposition to get Brave Erica over the water tile. I like it. Duma should be an easy kill for probably Odor. That's that. Oh, that's unfortunate. Survives by 1 HP. Well, of course, they had other options.
Eternal
They
night.
couldn't. They have 3 more turns after this. They could chip them down with I don't know. They could probably just survive with Brave Erica and 1 round KO, but if they really needed to, I guess they could chip down Duma with Ride Fiorm, because again, he has Fury 4, so the chipping goes through a lot faster. And we have another Brave Erica. Brave Erica is definitely a unit I have not seen on offense in a long time, and all of a sudden this season, I guess we're seeing her more than once, which is already more times than I usually see her. Interesting to get the turn 1 Ruptured Sky. I don't know what to think about that. I like it as a tech, but functionally speaking, a lot of units have damage reduction on the first attack, so I feel like maybe it would be better to not have it up turn 1, but I don't know. That's my opinion. It just really depends on who you struggle against. I guess against... yeah, even against Hardy Fighter units from Premier save, you would still want it
I will be your
on the
lance.
second attack, probably. But here it's useful for picking up that one shot there.
Oh, Lynn, you're a
Against
wonder.
Legendary Sigurd. Definitely nice. Interesting choice to take out Mirabilis, but I guess it's fine.
Go for it.
I'm
This
just not
is it.
entirely sure what their
Yes,
plan
a
is for
wonder.
leaving. Because Harmonized Roy is still chilling there. And they're not even leaving, so that's kind of awkward. Just means doing anything to think about free kill
Am I
here.
not strong enough?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were planning to do there. That was just the hit without the run.
Our
In
mission.
most instances, if that strategy doesn't... if you don't nuke most of the enemy units, that's probably not a good idea. And at that point, if you're nuking most of the enemy units, you probably use Scale Force. That no longer becomes hit without the run. Yeah, at this point, we have no mobility, so they can just leave, and we can't do anything about it. I guess Duo Nina can just hide. Harmonize Roar. This is where the reposition looping can be helpful, but at the same time, not so helpful. Didn't they already use their Kanto there, though?
Better accept it.
I wasn't paying attention. I feel like they already used their Kanto on here, so they can't Kanto away. Oh, that is so awkward. I think they forgot. they didn't have Kanto there.
Just my luck.
Yeah. If they didn't need to pick up the kill on Duma there, they could have waited. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I do that sometimes too. I forget that sometimes we don't have Kanto, and things get incredibly awkward. Speaking of incredibly awkward here, the most optimal thing for them to do here, I guess, yeah, is to put an extra because Regan isn't surviving too, most likely. Rip ether structure, but it doesn't really matter. Speaking of rip ether structure, I did miss one ether structure this week because I needed to pick up a kill on a unit that was threatening a kill on my units, and I figured it's probably not worth losing a unit for an ether structure that's probably not going to be relevant by the end of the season as long as I play well. So I just decided to lose the ether structure. And here is probably the first time you've ever seen Legendary Julia with an okay defense stat. That is because it's now getting full rebuffing defense. Casual +10 defense. And interesting, they're just gonna go for it here. Probably should work, I think, theoretically. Duo Nina doesn't shred through damage reduction, so he's just gonna get hard walled. This actually looks pretty solid.
I will see it done.
Although, of course, if you had to tank Legendary Nana too, that would be a problem, but you should just be able to wall here.
I call on the divine light.
That's that. That's interesting. Unfortunately, they can't actually close counter Sarah's to death, but it doesn't matter. I think they've already gotten enough out of that bait to pick up a win here. And even get the +1 movement because they can. And well, Legendary Sigurd not going to survive this. Way too much. And of course he doesn't have his damage reduction because Legendary Julia was below 75% HP, so no damage reduction for Legendary Sigurd, but yep. Julia is refined. This is really just all that really makes her super unique from
This is my birthright.
Legendary Deirdre, although I guess she does also have res-based damage reduction, but being able to counter dragons from melee range can be super useful. Especially if they're being way too tanky from long range. Like, for example, a Hardy Fighter Aegis Dragon definitely can wall Legendary Julia. Especially if it's like Ascended Athun, who prevents Legendary Julia from actually attacking twice as long as Legendary Julia doesn't have no follow-up. And I guess Ascended Athun actually has a weapon proc, which basically just means having an ally for 2 spaces. Well, it's not basically that is the proc condition. Should be able to clean up here, see what they do. Yep. They're not gonna full flex on us and break all of our traps for the heck of it. No one really does that. We just do it for the memes. And with that, that's the end of our replays. I guess we started out fine and then we just ended up losing a lot, which is to be expected. The average player at higher lift is probably going to be more competent at taking out our main defense. We're outside of top 1k, of course. We have to go well over 21.2k for top 1k, but I'm pretty sure. But this probably is top 3k, so that's cool. Only lost 60 lift on defense too, so that's cool. Of course, we've already seen Resident Battles, how we can never stay in interval 20 or even go up to interval 21. I don't think we've ever been to interval 21. And if we did, it was super early, and I don't even think we did it back then. Allegiance Battles, well, It's our best scoring team, and it's barely holding rank 200, which is still top 1k, but down the line, we're definitely going to struggle holding top 1k elite styles permanently. Here in Arena, it looks like we are good to go to stay, 3880, so that's nice. But anyways, we'll be back when the results drop in.